in the will of God. So when you are level and plumb, now I can be sighted in. If you understand that I thank God for your word. Because I told my brother, I say, she is all in my text. And I don't know if I'm able to preach it. And I thank God that she brought it out because it gives me confirmation that the word is right. When she began to talk about homeland security, when you make sure that something is level and plumb, when you understand how a sniper works. My brother was in the army, so he can understand. When you understand how a sniper works, he takes a shot and he takes. Boom. And he sees if he's too far left, if he's too far right, if he's too far up, too far down. And then he begins to dial in the coordinates. And in that, he says, I'm going to catch him in my crosshairs. And so in the crosshairs that the sniper has, it makes a cross. And in the middle of that cross is where he wants to hit. And so when he's making a target, he says, I want to hit dead on. I want to hit the target square on. I want to hit the bullseye. Because I want to hit the mark of God. Because we all falling short. And we all miss the mark. But understand when I become level and plumb, I begin to get in the crosshairs of God, and I can be in the Holy Spirit, and I can understand that as long as I'm staying level and plumb, that God can't miss. Because I know a God who can't miss. I know a God who can't fail. I know a God who can't slip. I know a God whose word is always done what it's supposed to be. I know a God from, Lord, I know a God. I don't think I know a God that I know. Because if you're the God that I know, you will begin to think about some times when your life wasn't level and when it was wrong. When things began to roll to the left and the right. So things began to fall off the top and fall off the bottom. And people began to fall off your life. But God kept you on track. He said, I keep you in my process. Because I knew you before you were born. And I had a plan for you. It was planned to prosper you. Planned to give you everything that you needed. Planned to provide. How many people know that when you began to get in the process of God, that he said, if I will clothe the lilies of the field, how much more will I do for my people? How many know that when you get in the will of God, that God will provide everything that you need? He said, how should I take my hands off my people when I declare them to be my own? How is it that a father can move his hand, that a right and just father, a father who understands everything that he made, how is it that he can take his hand off? Because he understands that everything about it is designed to work together. So in this understanding what Solomon was saying, he said that righteousness is often the nation. So in that righteousness, I began to find out that I make myself level and plumb. And so I began to find the balance or the tension that I need in life to walk straightly on this path, because this is a narrow path. So if I'm leaning to the left or right, I can be caught by the snares of the enemy. So when I'm living level and plumb, or I'm living in righteousness, I can walk this walk straight and narrow. Therefore, it no longer becomes narrow, because if anybody knows anything about bowling, the lane is narrow. But if I bowl straight down an aisle, there's a lot of room on the left and right. There's a lot of room on the left and the right. And so if I'm walking straight and narrow, if I'm walking down the straight and narrow, level and plumb, there's more room on the left and right for me to grab my brother and say, you're on the right. There's more room for me to grab my brother on the left and say, you come with me. And as Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. And so now we're an army coming together, and I walk through level and plumb. And so now as I walk, I begin to see because I'm matured and I'm bringing you with me, that as I walk, that the nation comes behind me, and that therefore there's nothing that shall bring us shame. Because if you see me fall, you can see my mess up. And if you see me fall, you can pick me up, pull me to the back, and now you can walk. You see my error, and now you can walk. And if you fall, you can walk because you see the error. And if you fall now, I should have been restored by my birth. And now I can walk. Walking with the word of God, we have to understand that this is not my walk. This is not my walk. That I pick up my cross with Christ and began to walk this. So if I picked up my cross with Christ and you picked up your cross with Christ, what does that mean? That I'm not alone and I'm not with you, but that I'm with Christ. I'm with somebody who defeated the grave. I'm with somebody who defeated sin. I'm with somebody who walks blameless and upright before man and God. So if it's that I'm walking with him and he's leading the way, we never have to worry about me falling off. If I'm walking and I'm following Christ, I never have to worry about me falling off. Because Christ walks the straight and narrow in the crosshairs, because he is the crosshair. He is he who we seek after. He is the mark. He is the target. If I'm walking behind Christ, I'm walking behind Christ, there's no need for me to fall off. The only time I begin to fall off, and then this is what we get in trouble as a church. I'm going to show you what we get in trouble as a church. Because you follow me because I brought you into the fold. And then you brought him into the fold, and now you said, this is my mentor. He's the one that brought me to Christ. Now you're following me. So now I'm just using his brother because I believe I can use it. I really understand. If you have now said, this is who I'm following, you've exalted me. And put me on a level where I don't belong. Because I was made from dirt, and from dirt shall I go. So you put dirt in the air, what's going to happen to me? It's going to sift to the ground. And so if you exalted a dirt vessel up in the air and you put him on a pedestal higher than God himself, I'm going to drift. And you're going to follow because you're following my example. And if you know nothing about dust, it don't just fall straight to the ground. It breaks up in particles. So then you begin to see everything that's wrong with me, and you begin to drift to the side. And then eventually you say, I'm not following him anymore. Too many things are wrong. But the thing about it is you're made of the same dirt. So eventually you're going to drift and slide. But then he's going to realize that something's wrong with him. And so then he's going to begin to drift and slide. And then before you know it, we're all scattered all over the church, and we're not following the sick man in the house who has found the will of God, the man who has found the idea of God, who has the mind of God for the house of God, because this is not, that I myself don't make up the church. That the church, that the body makes it the church, each believer makes it the church. So even if these walls fall, if I come back on the slab and I begin to clap my hands and shout, and I'm following the pastor, I can still be the church. It's not the church building that makes the church, it's the people. So if the people follow the leader, and the leader is following his leader, we'll all be aligned. So in my pursuit of righteousness, in my pursuit of righteousness, in my pursuit of truth, in my pursuit of understanding, all that getting, gaining understanding, in all that ways and knowledge him. If everything that I'm doing is with the heart and the mind to be sincere before God, because there's this thing nowadays that where I want to be humble. But it's a fake humility. I heard the gospel artist Molly Music say that humility is the new cocky. Humility is the new cocky. Now we see a new generation of young believers, young saints. When they get called to minister, they put themselves bigger than the opportunity. And when the pastor acknowledges, oh, God bless you, Doc. God bless you, I thank you for the opportunity. And they get this deep apostolic, ecclesiastical, wannabe voice, and they ain't got no order. They about as dry as grass and Bowman in June. They about as dry as grass and Bowman in June. And they have to have root themselves deep down. Because if you know anything about planting, if you root something deep down, even if the leaves look dead, the stem is still alive. Why? Because they're rooted deep down. Because they got a nutrition source that's deep down inside. But how many know that if I root myself deep down in the Holy Spirit, and I begin to ask God to dig, Father God, dig deep inside of me, and begin to take out the impurities, Father God, begin to turn the soil and make my life for the ground, make my walk for the ground, make my talk for the ground, make my hands for the ground, make my thoughts for the ground, God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So cool. Hey, Lord, if you begin to just give yourself to God the way Samuel understood it, he went before him and said, Father, it is I. Lord, if that's you. If you begin to make yourself available to God, and you begin to become for the ground, and if you put the seed, oh Lord, in my Bible, in my wallet, there's a mustard seed in my wallet. You ain't got to put it on so they can't see it anyway. It's too small. There's a mustard. I kept a mustard seed because of the prophet last year gave us a grain of mustard seed. And it's so small that I grabbed 3 of them inside of my fingernail. But if I began to allow myself to become fertile ground, that if God plants he plants enough faith, enough favor in my life, the size of the grain of the mustard seed, that it will begin to bloom and begin to create a field and a crop that is ripe for harvest. And so in that ripeness, we find that it is right to pull it. And when I began to pull it, now I can begin to benefit the people around me. How many know that we are the harvest? How many of us know that we are the harvest, waiting to be picked by God? And so in our time of waiting, in our time of maturation, we need to allow ourselves to stay in the ground and allow ourselves time to mature and grow. And in the right time, that the one who tills the ground, he will come and say, he'll check, and he'll be like, man, it's still a little green. Let them stay there a little while longer. Let me prune him a little bit. Let me clean him up. Let me dress him up. Let me make sure that he's right. That when the weather hits him, he can sustain. He'll be sustained in the word. And let me give him this word, that these thoughts that I have towards him. How many, they talk about if you talk to a plant, that help it grow. But what it is you're depositing oxygen into the plant because it needs oxygen to grow. The same way when God made us in the dirt, we begin to speak life into us. And he said, I was speaking to the dirt to make it grow. Man, come on. Everything that has become a modern marvel to man is a simplistic thought of God. And so if righteousness is something that really just confounds me, is God, how can I live righteous when I see in the New Testament, when I go to do right, evil is always beside me. When I go to do right, evil is beside me. It's beside me. It's beside me. When I go to do right, evil is all beside me. How is it that I can live right? Because you're not living level and plumb, my child. So if you begin to allow yourself to be fertile ground, you begin to allow God to develop and deposit it and put some things in and work you, and you allow yourself to be worked. Because if you've ever broken up hard ground, it hurts you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, you gotta break it down, you gotta get in until it's real soft, till a child becomes pick it up and say, woo, and let it fly. But so sometimes it's hard to break the ground. Sometimes you gotta dig out old roots, you gotta dig out old weeds, you gotta dig out trash that was left from somebody else who owned the land before. Ooh, that's a sin in our life. Because we were owned by the devil, we were owned by sin, we were sentenced to a place of death, a place of desolation, a place of condemnation, a place that didn't have anything for us. But how many know that when we give our life over to the master and he begins to work the ground that is our life, that he begins to take out those things, he'll take out the trash. Say, why is this in here? I don't need this. Why are these things in here? I don't need. Why are you have these filthy rags? I don't need this. I don't need these things to look good. I don't need you to have it. I need you to be simple. I don't need you to be dressed up. I don't need you to have on a shirt and tie. I need you to roll up your sleeves sometimes. See, Master, he never worried about it. He didn't dress himself in anything. He was made the way he was from the beginning. He never dressed himself up in any area. So when he came to make it, his sleeves were already pulled up.
Go ahead.
He didn't have to worry about taking off his nice shoes and taking off his bow tie and taking off his hat and putting his head aside and pinning it up and putting on a little, put on a face real cute. He didn't have to worry about that. He said, I'm coming and I'm going to speak some things into existence because that's all it takes, because I am God and I can do what I want. But then I'm going to come and I'm going to work. I'm going to put my hands to a certain situation. I understand needs a little bit more work because he needs some help. Because this man, in Aramaic is Adonai, and that's where we get the word Adam. And in it means the fulfillment of man, the totality of what man is. God said, let us make man in our image. And so in that, he brought a party with him, and the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ as the word, and he began to work it. And so as they began to watch, it was like scalpel, paper, whatever. He began to operate on the dirt. He began to break it. And he said, why is this in here? Impurity. Why is iniquity in here? Why is lust in here? Why is strife in here? Why is jealousy in here? Why is hate in here? Why is deceit in here? And as we began to allow ourselves to be firm ground, he began to pick out those things that are not like him. He began to say, okay, now I want to add love, long-suffering, kindness. He can begin to add the fruit of the Spirit and say, these are the things that I want to come out of the ground. And in that, and allowing those things to be planted deep down in us, how many know that we can begin to walk level and plumb with God? We can find the righteousness of reproach. We can find that as long as I allow myself to be corrected by God, I can stay level and plumb with God. So if He is beside me, I don't have to worry about it because I'm focused on Christ. I'm focused on the cross. And I can walk far with the Lord. How many people here want to walk far with the Lord? I know that I heard the old man say that, Lord, I'm running, trying to make 100. Oh, Lord, 99.5 won't do. So even if I get close and I fail, I have not made it. I heard the mothers, they would get down on their knees and pray and Lord, say, Lord, keep me, Lord, save me, Lord. And they began to cry out and just let the Lord know what was wrong with them. Not that He didn't know, but He wanted you to submit yourself in everything that we do. So as I began to yield myself over to the Lord and find what is wrong with myself, He said, I found that, but beneath it is this. I'm going to take all of that out. That way you can walk in righteousness. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
There's somebody tonight, there's somebody today that's not walking level and plumb. There's somebody that hasn't found out who Christ really is. We're walking in a form of godliness, and we're doing some things that are not designed by God. We're doing some things that God does not desire us to do. And in that, we are now in the B clause of 34. We're living in that reproach and finding happiness. We're living in a place of sin, a place of death, and finding happiness. We're like the man who was amongst the tombs. The spirits in him, they found joy in being amongst the tombs, amongst the dead. But we have to understand that that was not where he was designed to be. We don't know where he went, but we know that when God did a work in him, he went on telling about the goodness of God. So there's somebody here today that wants to go on telling about the glory of God. There's somebody here today that wants those things taken out of them that are not of God. There's somebody here today that wants to be purified, to walk holy and righteous and upright before the Lord. There's somebody here today that says, I've started a walk with God. I began to develop a relationship, but there's some things in my life that I don't understand. There's some things I don't understand why I struggle with these things. They've been in my life since I accepted Christ, and I'm trying to figure out what it is I can do to become one with Him. If you're here today, there's an open altar for us. There's an open altar for us to come and take all those things and lay them at the altar of God. And because we're open and kill them at the altar, and let the blood of those sinful things run, that God may purify our lives and use us in the way He designed us. There's an open altar for you today. If your head just hurts you, you can't focus, and it's causing you not to be able to think about God when